Yo, what's going on?
They sleeping.
That's on Amazon.
I'm
What do you
ready.
want to do with
I'm
it, bro?
ready.
My thoughts on Amazon. We had a buy side liquidity here, right? So the first things first, one, I haven't really covered Amazon too much. But for the most part, we had the sell target, right? Which I drew from up here. We got the target, right? So my target was here. We got the target and bounced off of these lows, right? So we bounced off the lows after we got the target. From there, we had left a few sell side liquidities. So one being the one from all-time high here. This would be, sorry, not sell side liquidity, excuse me. Buy side liquidity. So we had already left this. We filled target. Now our next checklist is fill that buy side liquidity. And then you get the breakout from here. We left a new buy side liquidity, which was here. And that was right before earnings. So you had two buy side liquidities. One here, two here. Now both of these are checked. They filled this buy side liquidity and they filled this buy side liquidity. And in the process, we left sell side liquidity down here. So for the most part, what I would want to do with Amazon is take it back to sell side liquidity. Not the best entry, just because, you know, we're already down about 10 bucks off the highs. The ideal trade would have been fading it right off of ER. Your best case scenario is going to be maybe if we pop back into here this week, reshort those levels for that move back into sell side liquidity. As far as premiums go, it's not bad. Right now, one of the dilemmas is that you have Amazon, Google, Apple with pretty similar setups, and it's not that it's a problem, but this is not common. You know, for the past few years, they've all had the market caps are totally different, so don't get it twisted. Just because the stock price is around the same prices doesn't mean that the market caps are the same. Market caps are totally different, but as far as spot prices go, you're trading around similar prices. So I like gaming the markets in the sense that I like to look for bargains within different names. And the fact that different names were trading at different levels, whether it was Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, you name it, each name was trading at very different levels. So you could kind of game the premiums where you can make money just by crunching the numbers behind them. At this point, you have Google at 280, Apple right around 270, Amazon right around the same level. So the point is, you can't really play the premiums the way you were able to play them a few years ago. Like Amazon before it had that pre-split. How many? I think it was a 10-1 split, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was you remember the shares were what, a couple $1,000? So when you were trading that pre-split, it was good money. And I'm telling you, you can't really do that no more just because of the way. Where is it? Do I not have splits on chart? Oh, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, right here, split. 20-1 split. So do the math. Multiply 244 by 20. That's the true value of what Amazon used to be trading at. So the only point I'm trying to get at here is the fact that they're all trading around similar prices. It kind of takes away the trader's advantage, or my advantage, which is playing the numbers behind it, because they're all trading around similar levels. The only difference you're going to have is IVs. IVs are slightly different on each one. But other than that, kind of sucks that they're all around same prices. Microsoft and Meta are in the 500s. But other than that, every single name, whoops, what is this? Every single name is, you know, not every single name, but roughly. And that was a super clean move on Meta, by the way. And I said Meta was probably the setup I liked the least for sales on ER, and it's the one that paid the best. But yeah, Amazon, I would probably take the sales back into, what did I do? Those lows. Oh, you do have that open gap from ER. It's decent. Just like I said, it's going to be a matter of playing the premiums. And with Amazon, Google, Apple, all of them trading around similar levels, you really got to crunch the numbers behind it. You could take either or. I'm sure they're all going to end up paying. But as far as where the advantage in the trader, I like looking for the advantage. And I'm telling you, the numbers are so tight that they're just going to make it a lot harder to find that advantage, when before it was kind of just like I could literally just eyeball the chain and it was obvious. And like I said, right now they're getting a little harder to read. Not harder to read, just like I said, you got to do a little more work. Let me know if that makes sense.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask. We would have to be looking more specifically on what's cheaper on IV now.
Not really, bro, because IV is a straight up answer. You could look at the chain and an IV straight up answer. Just the premiums are gonna vary. But I'm telling Alex, bro, because this was new and he asked about Amazon. That's why I'm just saying, does that make sense? I don't know if I know he knows what premium is, but he's not too. Huh?
Out of those three names, Apple would be the cheapest one, huh?
IV, maybe, sure. But it doesn't mean it has to be the cheapest.
I mean, IV also fluctuates, right?
And at the end of the day, it's not even about cheap, because, like I said, they're all trading around similar levels. But if Google pays you $10, $20, and in the meantime, Apple's flat or Apple pays $5, sure, maybe Google might have been 30% more expensive. But if you got paid 3x what Apple did, that's what I'm telling you. It's kind of hard to play the numbers here.
And so basically, PA is king.
Not really. That's all I'm telling you. Yes, PA is always king, but at the end of the day, you want to look for a bargain. And I'm telling you, the stocks are at similar prices, so it's not going to be super easy to play the. For example, if you're comparing different statistics, let's say you're comparing different statistics, bro. If you're looking at, let's say, a $10 stock versus a $1 stock, that's a huge difference. You could look at it and right off the bat tell the difference. But when you're talking about, pennies and difference, it's not as easy to just like hop on the chain and be like, oh yeah, this one makes sense. Because you're talking pennies. So you literally have to actually pull up your Excel spreadsheet, do the numbers, crunch everything, the volatility, a potential measured move. That's way more work. Like I'm telling you, if the numbers were way wider, I could literally just eyeball the chain and say, oh shit, $10 to be made right here. But since they're so tight in price, I can't just eyeball and calculate, okay, this one makes more sense. Sure, maybe I could, but it's so tight where you have to calculate many different factors to get like a more, refined statistical answer. And like I said, before Amazon was trading over 2,000. Right now at these prices with this growth, you're talking at about over $4,000 per stock, close to 5,400 per stock, which is a huge difference to, 250. Huge difference. So, it's cool, bro. I don't mind it. Just ideally, they're gonna make it a little harder on us. Just got to do more work, TBH. But I'm not tripping. Let's get started with it. Let's see.
Yes.
So first things first. You guys have been here. You kind of know what's up with the action. One, I wanted to see, which I don't have labeled down here, but I do have it on SPY. I want to see that BSL we discussed into 689. Will it happen? Maybe, maybe not. Right now, we're already opening higher on SPX, right?
Yeah, a little gap up, but I think it jumped a little bit.
Not really. We're still kind of holding. We're still above Friday's close. So
what I'm seeing is basically a rejection of GP on the daily range.
Well, I mean, sure, but at the end of the day, we're still holding above Friday's close, so we're still trading higher. It's still bullish at the moment. If we lose Friday's high, then sure, different discussion. But until that happens, not really. So if they do keep that path up to the upside, like I said, I want to see 689. After we see 689 this week, then I'll go heavy on the sells again. I still have a lot of sells on, but obviously when we had that drop on Friday, I told you guys exit your 1031s, trim 1007s, and obviously it paid. So we're opening higher. Maybe we open lower, maybe we open at these spots, don't matter. But if we open here or higher, selling down here on Friday was the correct thing to do, because now you can buy back your contracts for way less. And ideally, I want to buy them up here. So I'm not doing shit if we open here tomorrow. Why? Because I'm short from up here. If I'm short from up here on Wednesday and I sold way down here, why am I going to re-short in the middle of the range when, again, I shorted up here? I'd rather wait. If they sweep that 689, all right, then I'll short more from where I originally shorted. But it doesn't really make sense to re-short here in the middle of the range. And like I said, if we drive lower, that's fine. That's great. I'm still short. I still have a lot of positions. If we pop into these highs, I'll short aggressively again by adding more size. But at this spot, like if we open here tomorrow, I'm not touching this. There's no reason to touch this. Does that make sense why I would not short here?
Yeah, you're pretty much at a 50-50.
It's not even that it's a 50-50. I'm short from up here and I'm long from down here. So this whole range, like bro, at the end of the day, it's about probabilities, odds of success, making money. I don't really care if we break out or break down. Let me change the color on this.
So you have exposure both sides?
It's not that I have exposure on both sides. I mean, technically I do, but not really. Because I didn't go long here. I went long by closing my sells. And like I said, I still have sells. So I'm still short from up here.
Oh, okay.
But by selling down here, I'm also long from down here. So if I'm short here, long here, think about it in Forex. You're thinking options. Think about it in Forex. You can literally hedge your trade by going short here. Let's say you open one lot short here, pays you whatever amount. You open one lot long here.
Yeah,
whatever happens within this entire range, you're paid. If it breaks out to new highs, then great. Your buys are going to pay you. If we keep pushing lower, then great. The sells are going to continue paying you. And you would just manage this position or the vice versa with, like a small stop or whatever. But it keeps running. I don't know. I feel like options are a little trickier, but on the Forex side, you could literally play both sides. Short here, long here, and you're trading both sides. So realistically, I would not do anything here just because, like I said, I'm short here and long here. If I can get that same re-entry, sure. But at this midpoint, I'm not looking to do much.
Yeah, you're just using the short, like a short dated, like the short. You're long-term short, but you're like using the small pops as a hedge to
just get back in. Essentially, I'm just securing profits when I get the chance. Now, the problem is if, like I said, I shorted on Wednesday, you guys should have too, hopefully. And then we got paid out into Friday. We also got paid out on Thursday. If you took advantage of both drops, you could have gotten paid out pretty nice on this drop, reloaded on Friday, gotten paid pretty well on that drop. But if you're not being tactical, if you're not taking advantage of those setups, you didn't make shit. You could have loaded up here, you didn't sell here. We dropped again on Friday, even lower than Thursday, you didn't sell again. So guess what? You didn't make shit. When you could have made 50 or 100% or whatever on this drop, then done it again on Friday. And then if this week we open higher or push higher, guess what? You have this entire cash flow you made here to add even more size into these highs than you did here. And you have more cash than you originally did. But guess what? If you never took advantage of these drops, by the time we get up here later this week, you're losing money. Yeah, you're losing money. So if you took advantage, you got paid twice. If you didn't take advantage, instead of getting paid twice, now you're losing money. You see how that shit makes no sense?
Yeah, Wednesday, what I did was I grabbed the 11.7, the 485. It was at 450. I sold it. I think it hit 8 or like the high 8s or like the high 7s on Thursday. I sold it on Friday. I bought it again at 480. So I paid $30 extra, but it still paid. I mean,
but you took your profits. You're cash flowing. That's my point.
Yeah.
If you're getting cash flow and you don't take the cash flow, that's where you're making a mistake. You're getting cash flow, take advantage of the cash flow. That cash flow is going to be extra cash for you to take more trades. If you're holding the same trade, like I said, by next week, you have less money than you originally did and you're down on your positions, as opposed to someone who traded it the way I mentioned you should have. One, you made cash flow those 2 days. So this week you have more money to trade more sizes if you really wanted to. And like I said, if you're still holding the trades and didn't take any profits, you're going to end up seeing drawdown on something that you could have gotten, not could have, you did get paid twice. So sometimes you don't get that second opportunity. Even if you didn't sell on Thursday, you could have done it on Friday. So if you get opportunities and you don't take advantage of them, you know, not to be a dick, but that's kind of on you guys. If you see money, see green, take green. Sometimes, yes, it's good to leave runners, which I do majority of the time. But also, there's plenty of times where you get paid, and it's just a matter of taking it. Whether it's 100, 200, 500 bucks, whatever amount it is, those small wins will add up. Like Luis, I don't know what you cashed out, but if you made a couple $100 on each of those trades, that's a whole nother maybe contract or two that you might be able to swing now because of those, you know, scalps.
Yeah, I turned the 0 DTE into a swing.
There you go. You turn a day trade into an investment. That's fire. What's not fire is when you hit a day trade and then turn it into a lotto, and then it's like that's backwards.
Yeah.
But
Stop
if you're
doing
turning
that shit.
scalps into investments, that's solid.
That's why I asked you last week before the close. I was like, there's no point of like basically adding size right here.
I don't even
So-
remember no keys. Nah, but look at where we're at. We're at the same exact levels where we wanted to see the breakout, right? So we're trading right at that same area. For the most part, that's pretty much it on SPX. Pretty straightforward. From this point, like I said, we're either going to go to that 689 as discussed, or we're going to continue the path lower and fill that south side liquidity. Ideally, I do want to see higher so I could put back on more size. If we do roll over, then great. Like I said, I still have those swings. Well, we'll see how that plays out this week. Realistically, I'm looking for 689 and then roll over. So BSL first. But we got to be ready for anything just because we did leave that south side liquidity on Friday. And it's going to act as a magnet. And we are around the 0.5, which is a solid rejection zone. So
Quick question for
Go
you
for it.
boss. The gap that's filled, how can you describe how that
this
the
one here
top-
or which one?
that
or this
gap that you're
one?
showing, yeah, the sell gap. The
This
blue
one?
gap? Yeah, the sell side liquidity that you have marked out.
It
even though
hasn't
it's-
been filled.
right. It hasn't, but
Uh-huh.
it's technically sell side liquidity because of the fact that it's a gap. Because usually you mark the bottom of the candle, but you mark the top of the candle. That's where I
Yes.
was confused.
So look, let me clean this up a bit just because. Fuck, I fucked up. Bro, why is this not my bad, bro? Oh, I'm goofy. I was clicking on caps instead of shift. There we go. Okay, so you're talking about this cell gap. I'll get rid of this GP just so there's no confusion. So your question is, why aren't we coming to fill this sell side liquidity?
No, my question was typically you mark sell side liquidities by the bottom
wicks?
of the candle, the wicks, yeah, the
Like
bottom
here.
of the wick, but yeah, but for this blue,
Here.
you mark the top of it. Yeah,
Okay, so the reason I'm doing that is because this is a fresh target from Friday. Right? So pretend that doesn't exist. This is what I had before.
got it.
This is all I had before. So ideally, what am I looking for? Lose the top of this range, which is your sells below trigger. And if you lose that, then you can come close the south side. The reason why I have, based off of this, which is the gap closure, the reason I'm now looking at other levels is because now I have new data to reference. So as you get new data, obviously you get new targets. So that's where this new south side comes from, which is a tiny bit higher than this south side, but for the most part, these are still both targets.
For sure.
And then as far as internal and external liquidity goes, that's that discussion, which let me see on the 45, because that 689 wick is not here on the 192. I think it's gonna be, no, that's Fridays. That's actually interesting because that wick from SPY is not here. It might be this one. But for the most part, I gotta double check this tomorrow just because, like I said, that buy side liquidity is pretty clear on SPY. For some reason, it's not showing up on. Matter of fact, let's go find it. This was at 1 o'clock. Oh, was that Wednesday on Fed?
Yeah, that was, I believe, because it went upside and then it turned back down.
That was at 11 wick you entered, right? When you entered exactly at 11?
I think it was a little after, but
Why does
I
it
think
say
everything-
one?
Oh, you know what? You're right.
No. This was I'm lying. This was earnings. I'm lying. This was earnings week. So
It was that up candle wick that's like
So Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Does this show? It does. That is weird. It got filled already.
There's nothing on Robinhood, bro.
No, it is here, bro. It's here. It got filled already, guys. So that is my bad. And that's weird. Do you see how it got filled? You see 1 o'clock, Wednesday, October 29th, 1 o'clock. We left that same print and we filled it after hours. So that is actually my bad. We might not have to come fill this simply because we already filled it. I just think it's weird that it does not show that print. Do you see what I'm talking
What day
about?
is it? The
Wednesday.
25th?
No, the 29th, Wednesday. That's pretty unusual because
Okay, wait. So
no, but
Wednesday-
do you see how Spywick never got filled? SPX did. That's weird. I'm a little iffy on that BSL. I'm gonna assume they're gonna fill it just because they didn't fill it on Spy, but it is
What
a
time-
little
what-
weird.
hold on.
Bro,
What time
1
is-
o'clock. We already said it a group of times. 1 o'clock. Literally 1 o'clock on the dot at the close, right on ER. Wednesday the 29th, 1 o'clock.
Sorry, my bad. No, there's nothing on Robinhood, bro, for SPX.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's just
That's what we're saying, yeah. Or no, the other way around.
it's on Spy, but not okay. So look,
Filled
orange.
it on SPX.
Yeah, they filled it on SPX. The print is evident on SPX, but on Spy we never tested it, which is weird because we were. No, because look at this. We filled it at 8, 9 o'clock. That's when we had already closed. We closed at 4:30 here. So the reason that print that doesn't show up on Spy is because Spy closed here into 4:30, which is actually down here. So Spy closed down here at 4:30. And then this happened in the overnight session, which is why it does not show up on Spy. But Spy did trade into those levels. So realistically,
Oh,
that
but-
BSL is done. So that's my
after
fault.
hours.
We did get BSL at 689. So for this week, realistically, we don't have to hit BSL and we can come straight down. One comparison I do want to make, because they look literally identical right now, is to gold. Gold did make a full retracement back into the highs. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This was the first. Oh, this looks like shit. This was the first drop on gold here. That's fine. This was the first drop, right? From high to low. Right? And we left that wick. Do you see it? Then we came and filled that wick and gave the second leg down. Now look at what Spy just did. First leg down, right off these levels, coming right into similar areas that gold did. But like I said, right after this, we got the bounce, sweep buy side. Then we got the real leg down on gold. So I'm saying if something like this on Spy were to happen, I would not be surprised. So I'm telling you, maybe yes, we already filled BSL on SPX. But if they really want to do something like this, like like gold did, I would not be surprised. And then we'll get the leg down. Or it's, lose this area and do that. But for the most part, I would not be surprised for this, which is why I want to be cautious into the middle of the week, just in case they do go for that move. And then if you look at AMD, 1, they have earnings this week, and 2, we left this week, which would be, let's get rid of this. This buy side liquidity could be your potential target, which would align and coincide with that move up on Spy. And then maybe into Wednesday, after we get that buy side liquidity, then we can sell. And look at what the one they report. Tuesday after the close. So what if Tuesday after the hours, we get a bullish move? Spy gets into 689 after hours on Tuesday, or Tuesday, whenever it happens. But I'm kind of aiming for a Tuesday, Wednesday window to get into 689. And then short the fuck out of Spy at 689 for that next leg down on like we did on gold. Ideally, that's what I'm aiming for right now. Tuesday, Wednesday, get 689 BSL and go heavy on sales again. Or we can get the breakdown from these levels. But ideally, I'm looking for Tuesday, Wednesday, 689. I'm gonna be a little patient Monday, Tuesday, just because, like I said, I'm not really interested in anything at these levels. But if we get that 689 Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll for sure go heavy on the sells again. Like I said, I'm still short. I still got swings, but I did take off those 1107s, which at this point I'm not regretting, unless we have a crazy sell-off overnight or something. It was kind of the correct move so far. So we have this potential BSL here, which is Friday's high. If they break out above Friday's high, then our next target could potentially be that 689 we discussed. We'll see how it plays out. And those areas are not too far off, honestly. Yeah, because it's right here, that high. Realistically, I would not be surprised to see this. So 689, then from that 689, maybe we'll take some sells. Well, not maybe. If we get this, I'm going heavy on sells. It's just a matter of if we get back up here.
Yeah, but we already filled that gap, or that wick, so you're saying?
Yes and no. Because yes, we did fill it on SPX, but the way the action kind of works is a little weird, bro. And regardless of us filling that wick or not, it's still the same price action that we had on gold. And gold did make that full retracement back to the highs after the initial move. So if we were to have a similar sell-off on SPY, realistically, I'd assume they're gonna go back to that high. But now that look, in simple terms, every time you're gonna get an actual market structure shift, like on the higher time frame, you need a stop rate. And if you don't have a stop rate, it's just kind of hard to get those moves. So for example, let's say people went short here. When you get that move back into the highs, this is your stop rate, because everyone who was short here is getting stopped out. Then you get the true move. If we get something like that on SPX, again, I want to see the bounce back to these highs. But theoretically, this here could have been your stop rate, simply because one, we had highs, had that first drive lower, leaving liquidity down here. Then we went and swept those highs. So technically, this could be your stop rate, which was that move on Wednesday. Yep. So that move Wednesday into BSL could have been that stop rate. And then if we get the breakdown from here, great. It's just realistically, like I said, I'm not shorting here. I'm already short. If we get the breakdowns and you want to take this trigger here for the next leg down, that's fine. But me, myself, let's say it's Monday right now, 6:30. Boom, we're opening. If we're opening here, I'm not adding to the sells. If we trigger down here, maybe I'll consider something. But I'm not looking for 0 DT sells here or to add to the swings. If you have 0 swings and you want to nibble a little bit, okay, that's decent. But realistically, I don't think this is going to be an ideal spot to be adding to the trade or entering for a starter position. I think the much higher probability confirmation trade is going to be a breakdown from these lows.
For sure.
But like I said, if we can get this is best case scenario up here. We may or may not get it. Realistically, with AMD and everything lining up, I wouldn't be surprised to see it back up there Tuesday, Wednesday, but it's kind of tricky. Let's see, who do we have? Was it an AMD?
What if we flush under and leave that liquidity back to its, like, for the day it feels the all-time high? Is it possible?
Go again. If we feel sell side or buy side?
No, like the 689 does never get filled, but
it doesn't have to get. Look, it's not that it doesn't have to get filled, because it already got filled. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It already got filled, so it's like technically we don't have to check that off the list because they already checked it off the list. It's just, do they want to go for that stop rate this week? They can, but they don't have to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but on a scenario like on SPX that wouldn't have filled it and it would have still been there,
then yes. If they would have not filled BSL, then I would say yes, 110%, which was my original thought. They never filled it on SPY, but I just never saw this overnight action on SPX, and it did get filled. Which again, that was my bad.
Like a little bit more to elaborate. Let's say we get a 5% drop on SPY. There will still be there will still be a chance for it to bounce back from a 5% drop back to that
I wouldn't say
liquidity?
so, because like I said, it already got filled. If it was never filled, if we fell 5, 3%, whatever, I would say, hey, that BSL is still there, but it's not.
Okay. Okay.
So we could have a decent drop.
Technically, under the GP, if we flush, close the gap.
Ooh, we got
GG.
PLTR. So we have a lot of fucking
Bro,
fraud
PLTR kind of
stocks.
fucked me in the ass Friday, but
yeah,
hey,
Goofy Obese baby, why the fuck you trading it?
I got lucky, bro. I'm not gonna
It's
lie, I'm
cheap.
not
It's
touching that
cheap.
shit again.
It's cheap. Food is cheap. Yeah, right.
I got fucked, bro.
Yeah,
I got
bitch, you
lucky,
like
bro.
it. You like it. Hey, keep it a stack right now. If this food gets fucked and you know you're gonna get fucked and you do it anyway, you like getting fucked. Yes or no? You like it.
Not anymore.
Yeah, right. Food.
McDonald's.
Nah, but deadass, yeah. We got PLTR, which is a fraud stock. I don't like trading it, but Momo stocks pay. I don't like trading them just because it's Momo is basically momentum. You're trading momentum stocks. When the momentum dies, not ideal. Super high IV, PLTR, HIMS. I'll look at the charts right now, but yeah, Monday. These two should be pretty interesting. Fubo TV has been a little hot. We got Berkshire before the open on Monday, which I did not know. That one might be a sleeper. Let's see how that moves. Then we got Uber, should be decent. I'm not trading this, just as far as the price action goes and everything, these should be decent. Uber, Shopify, Spot, Pfizer. We have AMD, ANET is usually decent. SMCI, again, I'm not touching these, but they're important as far as the market goes. Pinterest, you got McDonald's.
What shit we got QQQ?
That's not too important because it's not really like. How do I explain it to you?
I thought we had MSTR this week.
I'm not sure. I think we have Mara. Is Mara on here? We have Moderna. Where's Mara? I'm pretty sure we did have Mara. I gotta check. Oh, we have Snapchat.
Snapchat's a cool one. I know Josh likes that one.
He likes investing in it. I don't think he likes trading the options. The options on it are super expensive. I think that's probably about it for me. Everything else is
Open Door AI.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, I would not touch that.
I never touched that before.
All right, let's go ahead and look at some of these real quick. So first things first, Berkshire, which I have not covered with you guys in a minute. But some of the people that have been here a little longer, Berkshire's been one of their nice bags. So right now, still well off of those highs.
Everything was fucking shit when you went short.
Bro, this move was crazy. This range was nasty, bro. The fact that we did this in a span of about a week, and then we look at, so this is a weekly chart, right? This was 1 week, then we came all the way down here and then reclaimed all of it. The fact that we got this amount of volatility in 2 weeks, we did the entire range to the downside and to the upside. That's massive. Then look at every other week after that. Small as range, small as range, small as range, small as range. So ideally, this is what gets you paid, but you don't want to chase this. You want to be getting into position when, you're having these small moves. So right here, you have that sell side liquidity, and then we get the bounce, right? But point is, this sell was amazing. We're kind of in the middle of this range, not really closer to the bottom. But ideally, if we lose this, you're going to see something like this, which would be nutty. Bro, I didn't know they report at the open. This is actually really important, just because of the amount of market share they have. If they were to report, some not so great news like future guidance or anything that is, potentially negative, that can really impact everything, simply because which Buffett had already mentioned a few months ago when we took the short, which was crazy because how the fuck would we know he was gonna retire? Literally, we shorted the week before he announced he would retire over the weekend, which was it was the last earnings, matter of fact. I think
It was before the earnings.
Yeah, because he reported on a Monday. They report Mondays, so it was the same thing. They had their event conference. I think it was on a Saturday or a Sunday, and he reported at their meeting that he was going to step down. So at the minute we opened on Monday, it was already wild down. But whatever. Point is, if he mentioned last earnings, hey, you know what, I'm stepping down, whoop-de-whoop, whatever, and at this point they have, you know, a negative forward consensus or something, that's definitely not going to be good, just because, like I said, they have such a big, they're big shareholders across many different companies. So if they're, you know, very invested in all these companies, and they're telling you guys, hey, you know what, I'm kind of stepping out of all of this because it's not looking too good, and they're kind of the top dogs, it's kind of like, wait, what's going on? So I want to see what happens with that. Not expecting too much, not trying to, like, you know, FOMO or anything. I'm just telling you guys, hey, they're a pretty big, not even company, but I just want to see how that goes, which, again, I totally forgot the reporting. That should be pretty interesting how that plays out. Other than that, oh, Fubo, I would not touch this. I would not touch this.
You're going to turn into TTEC.
Yeah, look at that wick. That's and look at this. Yeah, these stocks are not ideal to trade. What the fuck is this? Yeah, these charts are, when I see charts like this, or when people ask me about names like this, I doubt it, bro. No, this has been trading since this has been trading since 2016. This is probably like a GoPro. Look at GoPro, yeah, shitty ass stocks. Look at this, bro. Probably reverse split a million times. Anytime I see a chart like this, I don't want to invest in it. I don't want to trade it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to waste my time with it. This is not tradable. Like, you know, if you ask me ever about a trade like this, sure, I'll take a look at it for you. But ideally, this is not what you want to be trading. I don't like penny stocks. I'm not going to, you know, talk shit on anyone. I'm not saying you can't make money. I know penny stock traders that have made $1 million a day. So yeah, you can make money. Just ideally not something I personally want to be trading. Just because not ideal. Somewhat like trading, not as bad. It could be, but somewhat like trading meme stocks or stuff like that. Not very liquid. A lot of halts, stuff like that, which generally I don't recommend for anyone. I tell you guys, take something that is stable, low volatility. You know, yes, you want to take risk, but calculated risk. When you're trading these penny stocks and, you know, you halt and then gap down 10-20% the second you open, that's not really something you can feasibly trade, or at least I don't think you can, or I'm not interested in trading it. PLTR, we had that buy side liquidity, and like I told you guys before, anytime you have a flat top like we did here, same way we did on SPX and SPY, you're gonna go get that stop rate. So you sweep, get that stop rate. Now ideally, if they really want to, they can flip it. Will they? Maybe, maybe not. You do have sell side liquidity down to here. Let's clean this up.
I'm basically short under 200.
I thought you sold, bitch.
Oh,
you still short?
No.
Damn, like, you just burn yourself. You're still holding your contract down 90% right now.
No, I took advantage of Friday because it was a 0 DT, but I'm pretty much seeing like it reversed off of the Friday's high, and then under 200 would be the previous resistance.
Ideally, sure, 200 is a decent psychological level you could try trading under. You have some type of flag action here. Ideally, you want to see us break down from Friday's high, target the previous daily low, then below previous daily low, you're going to be able to target this gap we left here. And then
it's expensive on that shit though.
I would not touch it, bro. Why would you? One, IV is already high regardless, as is. IV super high on, you know, Planter. Well, now including earnings IV, you're talking about, I don't even want to look at it, but if I had to, that's what I was gonna say. If I had to guess, it's over 100%, bro. So why would you trade that? HIMS, not attractive. I have not looked at this in a few months. This one is actually one I wouldn't go long myself, but it can go sweep those highs. Let's see how much short interest it has. Can I find out here? I should be able to. I'll find out right now for you guys. But this one, assuming it has a bit of short interest, you guys know me. I'm not going to go long something unless everyone's short. I'm not going to go short unless everyone's long. Assuming there is a lot of heavy short interest, a lot of puts bought into these lows, this would be a nice trade to see a sweep of these highs. And that would be a pretty big move. You're talking about almost 100% on the underlying. I'm exaggerating, maybe close to 70. Let's calculate this. Yeah, 70%. Damn, bro, quick maths. 70%. So that would be pretty nutty. If the underlying moves 70%, you're talking about a super fat payout on the options. Same way you can break down to the downside. But like I said, if there is heavy short interest, and let's check this out. How many puts? Maybe not. Oh, yes. So there is not, let me show you guys. So there's not a lot of, what did I do? There's not a lot of puts, right? So if you look at this, you have over 3 calls for every put. What I do like is that as far as the multi-leg percentage, you have close to 30%. What does that tell me? That 30% or 29% of the total volume transacted on the chain was a multi-leg order. What does that mean? That they bought, you didn't buy just one strike. So a multi-leg, it could be sold spread. It could have been bought or sold. You don't know if it was bought or sold, but you do know that it was transacted. So 30% of the volume transacted is a spread. If I had to guess, it's gonna be call sold. If there is 30% of the volume sold as a spread, again, I'm assuming because I do not know if it was sold or bought, but assuming it was sold, so that means 30% of this volume, which is roughly 220 or whatever, 230 million, is technically short by selling the calls. 230 million on the sold calls heavily outweighs what was bought on, the puts. So my point is, where is the money to be made? If they were to push this to the upside, for example, they get to secure the entire 220 million sold on the calls, plus the entire net flow on the puts. After they assign the short sellers of the calls, they secure all that money, and then the market maker. So this is essentially what's going on. They're selling calls up here, if that makes sense. They're selling calls up here. Why? Because they're saying, hey, I can sell these calls and get a couple thousand bucks per contract. Oh, well, shit, let me sell 1,000 of them. That's 100K real quick or whatever, right? You have people selling calls up here, and you have people buying puts here. If you get this move, all the people who sold these calls are going to get screwed because they're selling them for pennies on the dollar. Once the squeeze happens, you're getting assigned, for a lot of money. These people who bought puts are also getting wiped or liquidated, not really liquidated or wiped, but this money is being taken. This money is being taken. After we get this move, you can get the move back down to the lows. But guess what? These puts didn't get paid out. The people who sold these calls also got, their money taken. Now you can get the true move. Exactly. The market maker just wants to make as much money as possible, and that's something they can do here. Again, that's maybe not the way it's going to play out. Let's see how this actually, ends up playing out this week. But ideally, I like looking at positioning as well as the charts. So that's the call and put flow. I have not looked at the short interest, but I'm going to assume it has a decent amount of short interest. If that is the case, like I said, they could do something like this. Take the money from the short sellers, from the put buyers, from the call sellers. After they secure all of that money, liquidity, then, okay, well, guess what? We made X amount of billions of dollars. Now let's go ahead and, hit those sell side liquidity targets. And if they pay a few people after that, it's fine. It's cost of doing business. Yeah, maybe we lost 100 mil paying out the few people who stayed short, but they secured in the process, X amount in profits. This one might be interesting. Again, I'm not touching it. I'm sure the options are not going to be pretty, but that's something that might end up playing out on that one. Let's see Uber. Uber all-time highs. Is it all-time highs? Yes.
Was
This one I might want to short. What's IV on Uber? Let's check. I don't think I've traded Uber ever. Or maybe I have, but it's been a minute. I
I've
haven't
never-
touched this.
never done it with you.
Let's see. This motherfucker taking dabs.
IV's 80%.
45? What you talking about? Where are you
What the fuck?
checking?
On Robinhood.
Oh, I'm seeing 45. I don't know. But, yeah, I know this is expensive. At the Money weeklies closed at close to $300. Yeah, I'm not taking this. Let's check
6 foot
next
is
week.
330.
Wait, what the fuck? Next week's are the same price? Or am I looking at the wrong one? This makes no sense. This
Hey, the
week,
next week it
they're the same
yeah.
price. They're like, what,
November.
$40 more?
$50, 330 to 380.
Okay, do you see what I mean? Something as simple as taking 10 fucking seconds to look at the chain, you just got yourself a whole extra week of time for $50 more. If you're already gonna spend 300 and something, spend the extra $50 and you get a whole extra week. That's just like a no-brainer.
Turns.
Bro, even look at November 21st. They're $390 or $415. Shit, pay that extra. It's less than $100, bro. For less than $100 more, you can get 2 extra weeks. And again, I'm not trading it, but it just goes to show you guys. If you
$100 extra,
if you
you can do
do
it on November 28th.
something as simple as look at the chain, you're getting 2 extra whole weeks for $100 more. I'm telling you, that's a no-brainer. So whoever's buying the November 7th or the November 14th, I'm not saying you can't get paid, but you're already getting fucked on premium because it makes no sense why you're gonna pay the same amount for something with a week time as opposed to something with 2-3 weeks time. So always look at the chain. Generally, things should be priced properly, but at any time where you see something like this, don't ever play the short dates. Go ahead and get time, play the longer dated, and obviously it just makes more sense. You get better bang for your buck. Even the spreads on the 28th get a little wider, but yeah, the November 21st are not bad at all. Again, I'm not trading it. Just goes to show, literally by looking at the chain in a few seconds, we found a way better deal. That has nothing to do with the charts, has nothing to do with sell side liquidity, none of that. It's something as simple as business. You look at, cost when you're doing business and your potential benefit. You look at the chain, and like I said, it's super simple and straightforward. If you understand what you're doing, that's a bargain. And like I said, it has nothing to do with trading. That's just straight business, numbers, whatever you want to call it.
Yo, J&J reports next week.
I already took some profits on that. Damn, it hit back to 189.
Yeah.
I'm glad I took profits. Yo, did you take some, AJ?
Yeah, I did.
All right, fuck it.
Yeah.
Over 100% or no?
I took 100.
But you had 2. So if
Yeah,
the
I
other
took-
one goes under, you're still at least break even or some green. So that's not bad. That's what I'm telling you. If every time you do that, you might not win, but you're not gonna lose. As long as you're not losing and staying in the game, like shit, bro, you're winning.
Exactly.
But that's not bad. Fuck it. I'm glad you took some though, because if you wouldn't, you would have probably been, I don't know, maybe break even or shit, maybe even losing money.
They have that Southside liquidity to fill them.
They haven't done it.
No,
They have
they're
that
gonna-
180, but they also have the 195, bro, or right at the middle.
Yeah.
Because they report on the 21st, I believe.
Yeah, literally at the
November?
0.5. This is actually getting really tight, bro.
It is. It kept rejecting off of 192.
We'll see how it plays out. I have a tiny bit left on this one, but I did take profits on it, which I'm actually glad because I didn't know it came back this much. Let's see, spot. Oh no, shop first. Damn, this week's actually pretty packed, bro, with earnings. This setup looks decent to the downside. I probably wouldn't take it just because of IVs and whatnot, but you have a few south side liquidities potentially.
Yeah, the
Not
shoulders
bad.
right there.
Maybe. Could be. So you're talking about something like this, which actually does line up. If this is the top of the shoulder, that would be this part, right? But if we want to do this here, then we would fill buy side liquidity and do that right shoulder. So again, this wick could have been the right shoulder, or they might still do that. Just kind of depends how they play it this week, which goes back to the conversation on SPY. Does it do this, or are they going to try to sell it right at the open? Let's see how we're doing tomorrow morning, but assuming we're trading right around here, I'm probably not shorting, you know, zeros or at the open or anything like that. I'll rather wait, see if we get a pop and short the pops. But a lot of names are kind of sitting right at the 0.5 here. So gonna be pretty interesting. Like I said, if we open here tomorrow, I'm not shorting actively. If we get higher, then sure. If we get triggers to the downside, then different conversation. But assuming we're around these levels, like I said, best case scenario is probably just gonna be patient, refrain from those sells.
Gonna have Berkshire on watch tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying. If that moves, some different story. But for now,
The copy traders are gonna be
the what?
the copy traders.
What do you mean the copy traders?
'Cause there's a lot of people that they like copy Warren Buffett's portfolio. You know. I'm assuming.
Well, I mean, yes,
you said,
but it's larger
making-
investors, slower moves, looking more for like dividend payouts, stuff like that. So that's more like seasonal trades, but it will affect going forward for, you know, 2026 or the rest of Q4. It's definitely important, but it's not like you can just, you know,
Sentiment?
blankly, huh?
Like use it as some type of sentiment.
No, because I'm just saying, like, because you're saying copying trades, but theoretically, the way the 10Ks and everything work, you're not gonna see what they're buying or what they're holding or what they're trading until a month later. So it's like, I don't give a fuck what you were holding last month, bro. Like, I need to know what you're in this second. So that's what I'm telling you. Like,
Yeah.
like when people were like, "Oh, Michael Burry, he's short, I don't know what." And it's like, no, homie, that's his 10K from last month. He was short from the top. But when that came out, there was like a whole thing going on Twitter. And it's like, not to be a dick, but people would just talk to talk. Like, they're uneducated. There was a whole hype on Twitter about, oh, the big short, Michael Burry just went short. And it's like, they were literally posting that when the markets were coming into the bottoms. And it's like, no, he didn't short right now. He literally got short last month. But that 10K from last month just came out right now. That doesn't mean that he's still short the full positions that he was showing at that point. So that's what I'm telling you. Yes, you can quote unquote copy trade him, but you're never really going to be copy trading anyone because you're copying a trade from a month ago. It's not the same. They might not be holding anymore. They might have already sold. They might have, you know, whatever. So I guess, sure, you can look at them for a consensus, but it's not really like you can copy trade them. Like when everyone says, oh yeah, just copy Nancy Pelosi's stock picks. It's like, yeah, same thing. You're getting the reports probably after the move or whatever. That's just the way the reports work. You don't have to report it exactly the way you do it. You can report the moves after, like legally. I'm not sure the days. I think they get 10 days or a week or two to report it. So legally, they don't even have to report the transaction until later. And even when they report the transaction, you're not getting those documents until later down the line, which might not be useful anymore. And even then, there's a shitload of fucking politicians that don't even report their shit, end up getting fined. It's like, all right, I'll take the slap on the wrist, made millions, and they get a $500 fine or some bullshit. Like, all right.
Any pairs we should stay on and watch? Oil.
I mean, I've discussed everything. Everything's kind of around the same levels. I'll cover them right now. Let me finish the ER list, and then I'll do GJ and dollar and all that.
Okay.
Spot, I'm probably not interested in at all. Shop looks decent just because it's into the highs. Spot, not really interested in it. IV's high on this one too.
Snap.
Pfizer reports this one would be ridiculous to the upside if they were to get some type of squeeze. I'm not touching it. This one doesn't have the worst IV. Matter of fact, let's see. I'm probably not touching this one, but if calls are cheap, maybe a lotto or something. 30%. These actually aren't that bad. I'm add this one to the watch list. I'll check it out tomorrow. All right, PFE added to the watch list. Fuck it, let's see. If we could find something decent, maybe we'll take a ER lotto on this one just because it's cheap. AMD, we already discussed a little briefly. We want to see a potential buy sell liquidity into that wick fill, and then the sell may or may not happen. That is a smaller time frame, right? So buy sell liquidity and then flip. If you look at it on the daily, we have this entire sell gap down here from when we gapped up. What was this? OpenAI news or something, I believe. So again, we have this entire sell gap. One, we don't have to fill buy sell liquidity. We could just roll over from these highs if they want to. But ideally, I do want to see buy side and then flip. And again, AMD has a massive range. I don't like trading AMD just because of how expensive it is. But I will say this. If we can get something way out the money, like into 200 for pennies on the dollar, which matter of fact, let's go check the chain now. Yeah, I'm not touching weeklies because you're getting fucked, literally. But if I can find a crazy bargain on some, 2-3 standard deviations and out the money, I'll consider that. Yeah, fuck no, never mind. Never mind. Yeah, no. There's no deals on this, bro. There's no deals on this.
Too expensive.
Even if I were to go out to what's
Even
the bottom of the gap?
deviation?
170. Let's see what the 170s are going for.
Try 170 by December.
I probably wouldn't do it, bro. So it just goes to, having a million options. If there's a million opportunities, why am I gonna force it here? Realistically, I don't like it. If I were to consider it, I would probably do nah. I can't really justify it, but maybe because I'm looking at the chain right now and I'm just trying to see the cost benefit. Is this really something?
Damn, that wick is crazy.
Bro, this is April. This isn't even COVID. COVID's over here.
That's crazy. That's what I'm saying. That bitch says 80, 70s.
Bro, do you know how much these stocks went for just 10 years ago? Like, it's crazy. No trust. I don't like it. I'd still rather take NVIDIA, to be honest with you guys. Not taking it, but I'd prefer NVIDIA, to be honest with you guys. The chart's just way more attractive.
NVIDIA's also have like the biggest drawdowns in the day.
AVGO even looks way better than AMD. Do you guys see that on the chart? We're basically trading nearly into the monthly highs. AVGO, that is not the case. So I still prefer short. Again, gonna be just as expensive, if not more expensive. But there's a little bit more money to be made on, NVIDIA and AVGO. So AMD, to be honest with you guys, damn, my phone's about to die. Let me get my charger. I would completely pass on. And now that I'm actually on the charts, what's the bottom of this? Wrong chart. 330. Interesting. We might take a trade this week on AVGO, guys.
Let
me get my charger.
Your buys above for me is 351. For a sells below.
Hold on, bro. Fuck, where did I leave my charger? Oh, I'm gonna be right back. Literally 30 seconds. Hold it. Alright, I'm back. No, yeah, we might take a trade on AVGO or NVIDIA. Probably gonna end up being AVGO. Gonna crunch the numbers, but I think it's gonna end up being AVGO. So realistically, like I said, there's not much of a deal on AMD. I can't really justify what you're paying on the premiums and what you can potentially make. But I came on the AVGO chain really quick, and it's a lot more attractive than AMD, like hands down, easily. As soon as I came on the chain, it's pretty obvious. So we'll see how that goes, but for sure, I'm gonna be comparing the chain tomorrow on Nvidia and AVGO. I'm leaning more with AVGO, but there's definitely gonna be some money to be made here.
We have an open gap that hasn't been filled to 330.
On what?
AVGO.
That hasn't been filled?
No.
It's been filled. You're looking at it on a daily. Go to a 192.
No, I'm on the 45. I swear to God, it's not filled.
Right here.
Fuck. No. Watch, I'm about to send it. Go on the 45.
It's the same thing, bro. It's filled. So go to the daily. This is where the gap opens, right? Top of Wednesday. Wednesday, August the 13th. This is the top of the range. And then we traded into that level. So that level, the high is 317.35. Then on Friday, October the 10th, the low was, come on, bros. The low was 315.81, so about $2 under. So trust it did.
The lowest low I got is on Wednesday 22nd.
Gang, look, go to Friday, October the 10th at the close. Check the price.
Bro, this is hilarious.
Earlier, the fucking ER wick and now the sell gap.
Yeah, for real, bro. These Robinhood charts, bro.
No, look at the chat. Look at the chat. Look at the chat on the live stream.
Bro, is right there. What's the low at?
Nothing tapped into it.
Bro, it's touching 318 on your chart. What are you talking about, my guy?
Oh,
Is this your
no,
chart,
wait,
my
oh.
guy? Is this your chart, my guy? 318.40 wick? Is this you?
But the open gap is right there above.
Bro, you're looking at a whole different setup. Like you got you're tripping, bro. I see what you're talking about, but you're not even looking at the open gap we're looking at. You're looking at a whole another thing, bro.
That gap hasn't been filled.
It's not a gap though. You have
That's not a.
So bro, okay, so look. If you were to get a ruler, let's make this line thick as fuck. Bro, and I know I've taught you this shit before, gang. I'm not tripping. Let's get it. So look, this is your let's see you see this line. Fuck, my shit's a little dirty, but you see this line,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'll make it yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, what'd I do? Okay, so this is the top of this is a high, right?
Yeah.
Before any of this happened, we just had this. So this is the high. This is where we opened. Do you see how this is literally a gap? Because I could move this line up and down.
Yeah.
There's not any price touching at all. There's
the
nothing
range,
touching.
yeah.
There's nothing
That's
touching.
the-
Right?
Yeah.
You see that? You see what I'm referring to, right? Nothing here. Empty.
Yeah.
If I go over here, where we're at, you're talking about this gap here, right? This blue one?
Yeah.
Okay. If I do the same thing, is price touching? You're saying we never closed this. But look
Yeah.
left. You have this entire action. So it's like realistically, you have all this.
So that would be an invalidation. Oh.
You have this entire range here of action. So it's like you don't have a gap. You have this
so
entire
those are-
trading here.
Yes.
There's not a gap. We gapped up
You have-
overnight, but it's not a gap in price. It's different.
Oh, okay.
I get what you're
Damn,
saying, and yes, eventually we do want to come down, but it's not an open gap. It's a little different.
It's not liquidity, basically. It was price action.
You have liquidity down here. Like, I'm not trying to tell you we're not going down. Like, yes, there's liquidity lower, but what you were referring to here, it's not a valid quote unquote open gap because it's not really an open gap.
Okay.
This here was an open gap, for example, was because they closed it. It was, and then like I said, they closed it. This is non-existent. This does not exist anymore. They closed that gap.
There was no action. Yeah.
But at some point, it was a gap, and then they closed it. Now it does not exist.
Okay.
But that's why I think you're getting a little confused. Yes, it's a gap up, but it's not necessarily an open gap in price. It gets a little. I guess it's a little confusing. Yeah, I get it. But yeah, AVGO, which one I kind of slept on this entry. If this was the high, I slept. If we can bounce a little bit with SPY, like I said, and then something like that, great. But AVGO and NVIDIA might be something we take this week. And I'm assuming these are already trading a bit higher just because we had a small gap up on SPY. What else am I missing? I don't want to spend too much time on ER names. I'll probably just do maybe ANET and then McDonald's, and I'll cover the pairs, so we could go ahead and call it.
AVGO got rejected off of 375 and was sitting at 372.
What levels are that or what?
Well, pre-market. Overnight.
All the previous buy sites. We'll see. Like I said, I'll cover both these tomorrow. I'll assess the chain. I'll see the premiums. I'll see what makes sense. But ideally, maybe I'll consider something on it. McDonald's is super clean. I did take it. Danger. I didn't even notice this.
The gap?
No, where we're at. I grabbed some 310s and some 300s on McDonald's, and I didn't even notice we closed here on Friday, keeping it a stack. I want to see what happens on McDonald's. Ideally, I'm still looking for this. We have earnings on Wednesday. If we get a bounce and I can reshort somewhere up here, maybe into this gap close, that would be cool. But I'm already short from last
there's
week.
liquidity to 312 though. Oh yeah, you have it. Yeah, you have the liquidity to 312.
Oh, up here?
Yeah.
It could go there. We'll see.
It's been bouncing.
But like I said, I'm already short, and I didn't even notice this. It paid a bit. Nothing crazy though.
Fridays I was watching 307.5s and they went
Fuck my
to a band, bro.
307s?
Yeah.
You're talking weeklies. You're talking weeklies, right or no?
Yeah, it was.
If you caught that on the weekly, that's nice. But since mines were swings, since I paid some premium up front, I'm telling you, I got paid, but it wasn't crazy.
But if it was Wednesday, the high of the week. Yeah, I've been trading McDonald's because it's low IV, to be honest.
It's just been pretty flat, so it kind of makes it hard to trade. You need some volatility. Hood looks decent. IV's high on this one. I'll probably pass, but this one is going to be pretty important. Actually, no, I wouldn't. I was going to say I'd consider shorting it into Tuesday, Wednesday with the rest of the names. Like I said, I might. But nah, Hood's a little expensive. 75% IV. I'll pass. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up with the forex pairs, and then we'll call it a night, just so we could be up early tomorrow. If any of you guys want to get started early with me, you guys are welcome. ARM, I just noticed also reports should be decent. Qualcomm should also be decent. They have that wick into 204 that we have yet to fill. So this one I actually want to see play out. This is Wednesday after hours. So like I said, there's a few wicks to the upside. Qualcomm has one, AMD has one. AMD is going to be Tuesday after the close. Qualcomm Wednesday after the close. So like I said, be careful. obviously since we're short, if they do go for these pops into Tuesday, Wednesday, that's going to obviously, hurt the sellers. So if we get these pops into Tuesday, Wednesday, like I said, this is going to be a beautiful setup to short into. But for now, if you already caught a bit of the short, be patient. Wait for another opportunity. We took this opportunity, again, not in Qualcomm, but for the most part, we took a bit of the sells. We got paid. Now we got to be patient. Wait for another opportunity. Whether it's on continuation or a bounce and a reshort into the highs, we'll see. But at this point, it's kind of a bit of a coin flip. Wait for a trigger, then we'll take the trades. But yeah, the more I look at different names, it looks like they're going to try to go for that pop into Tuesday, Wednesday. All right, let's go over. Okay, so SPX setup, I'm not going to spend any time on it just because we already covered it. But I will say, one, they're triggering below Friday's high. So this was Friday's high or the close. This is going to be your point of control going forward. Based off what happens into this point of control, do we reclaim it or stay below? It's going to determine our path into tomorrow at the open. Do we bounce back above point of control to the potential buy side liquidities higher? Or are they going to give us this path here? So for now, this is the level to watch into tomorrow. And like I said, obviously I'll do the update and all that tomorrow pre-market. But from here into tomorrow for the overnight London session, this is kind of what's at stake. This versus this potential breakdown. Then for Bitcoin, we're trading into 108K. We had discussed there was some buy side liquidity. Has it gotten filled? I believe it has. No, it hasn't. No, it didn't get filled. We'll see how this plays out. Bitcoin's also holding the lows. Did this sweep? No, it didn't. So the tricky part about Bitcoin is, one, you're between a range. It's setting higher highs, higher lows. So you have a higher high, higher high, higher low, higher low. So it's respecting the lows, respecting the highs. As long as they continue this uptrend, they're going to try to go for the breakout. The problem comes if they roll over and trigger the lows. This is a potential problem versus flipping off of this support, whether they come down and retest outside liquidity and bounce, or retest from here and bounce. That's definitely valid. Like I said, the problem for bulls on Bitcoin is going to be if they lose south side liquidity from here, which they have not filled yet, and fail to stay above. If they sweep, that's normal price action for something like this. If they lose that, that's when we can open the discussion of sub 100K. If we get sub 100K on Bitcoin, you have a waterfall
70K,
effect.
70K.
So this is going to be a pretty important move on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been ranging for quite a bit of time, honestly. If I go on the monthly, it's been here probably, a couple years already? Sure, we squeezed a bit, but for the most part, we've been ranging right around that 100K area for over a year. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, again, if Bitcoin loses these levels this week, you're going to test 100K, and I don't think 100K is going to hold up. We're most definitely going to lose it. A couple weeks ago, we had discussed Bitcoin losing the 110K handle, which we did get, and then they obviously reclaimed it, pushed higher. Now here we are. Like I said, what I don't like is we have a massive range. I don't like trading huge ranges. I like trading when the ranges are a lot tighter because your risk is also a lot smaller. When you're in this huge range, not ideal to be shorting into the lows because you have this potential upside range. We'll see how it plays out. Ideally, like I said, I'd prefer to see a breakdown and continuation lower to take an entry. Same comments on SPX. Like I said, I'm already short, but going into tomorrow, if above, no reason to be short. Be patient, wait to short into these highs. But if for whatever reason we do trigger lows, then sure, you can try to take this breakdown with like a stop above here. That would be your stop or something. But pretty clean setups. I like what we have. And like I said, if you took advantage of the drop on Thursday and Friday, made some cash flow, you're in a great spot. if you didn't take advantage of the cash flow, kind of sucks. Because instead of having more money to make more trades, you're gonna be maybe down a little bit. We'll see. GJ. So GJ, again, this was the path we discussed last week. We wanted to see an overthrow, stop raid, then flip. So overthrow got the stop raid, then flipped. We wanted to see this first leg down into Southside liquidity, check. Second leg into Southside liquidity, check. Third leg into Southside liquidity, check. So everything good. Now after we swept the Southside, we got the bounce, which again is normal price action. This is fine. We're now trading right back at the 0.5. So what happens from this week is going to be super important. It's pretty straightforward setup like the one on SPX. Hold above and push above. You're going to do this versus a breakdown back to the lows. As far as the setup on GJ goes, this looks a lot more bearish than the current setup on SPX. SPX also looks pretty bearish. I'm just conflicted with that BSL. But realistically, I think GJ has opportunity to do this. Or if they really wanted to, they could do a small pump fake to this high. So usually when you get a flag like this, you could do a small breakout. So traders will think, oh damn, you know, we're breaking out. And a lot of people like buying the retest. So they'll buy the retest of the flag for this. But what really ends up happening is this. So again, I want to see how GJ plays out. There is a decent amount of Southside liquidity here. And we have lower targets. We still have lower price action. Let's zoom out a bit. So GJ, again, we've been trading higher with SPY. And this is going to be a pretty clean sell. So we'll see how it plays out if they manage to trigger this week. But this is looking pretty similar to, let's throw it up there, to SPX as far as price action goes. So first drop here, climb back to the highs, and then kind of trading similarly here. So again, flag action on SPY versus flag action on GJ. As far as USD CAD goes, we also got the bounce we were looking for last week, which I did not see this actually. When was this? Oh no, this was over the weekend. Wait. Oh yeah, this was on, yeah, I remember. This was on Fed and everything. For the most part, we're kind of coming into the buy side targets. The only problem with USD CAD, one, the USD CAD, whoops. What is this? The USD CAD setup is not as pretty as GJ. So me personally, I'm not really interested in USD CAD at all. I'm watching it just to track it. But the chart on GJ as far as the monthly goes is a lot more attractive. This chart, so let me tell you guys what I'm referring to. You guys know how I feel about buying at premium, selling at discount, right? This is your low, this is your high, all time on the monthly. We are not, let's flip this. We're trading between the 786 and the 618, right? I don't know if you guys can see this. We're trading between the 786 and the 618. Realistically, this is not the best range. Why? Because USD CAD, we're talking about going long. So this could be a potential, you know, somewhat like a cup and, oh, come on, bro. Somewhat like a cup and handle setup, right? They're trying to trigger this for this breakout. But what I don't like about this setup is you're trying to go long into the GP between 618 and 786, which is where I like to short. You guys know that. I like shorting into GP. Sell into premium, buy into discount. Now, as far as the setup on GJ goes, we're coming not into the highs, but we're also not at the lows. So that's where my dilemma as far as trading goes, as far as what I like, my strategy, whatever you guys want to call it. And again, GJ is also between the 618 and the 786. So it's kind of just like, all right, so which one is the correct thing? If these are supposed to be inverses, they're not supposed to be moving in sync. Yet we have both of these names trading into their golden pockets respectively from all-time high to all-time low. So one of these has to be incorrect. So in my opinion, we're gonna get this on GJ back to the lows, and we're gonna get the breakout on USD CAD. Like I said, I much rather short into premium at the top of GP versus go long. So I prefer the GJ setup, but this is obviously viable. Not what I'm looking for, but I rather short into these highs as opposed to go long into these highs. Does that make sense? So that's my dilemma with those two pairs. On the smaller time frame, things are playing out relatively okay. Ideally, like I said, we want to see the breakdown from here on GJ, and we want to see the continuation and breakout higher on USD CAD. But as far as monthly goes, like I said, it's a little conflicting.
Yo, I got one more thing.
What's up, bro?
Can you look at pretty much banks, but specifically Bank of America?
For sure. I'll run it right now. And then
After gold?
just real quick, so we got sell side on gold. Now, same comments on gold. Is it gonna lose sell side and give us that continuation or bounce from here? But the only pair that has given us a full move is gold. GJ has not given us a full move yet. SPX has not given us a full move yet. So pretty interesting here. Kind of want to see if things play out like gold did. GJ should be a super fat bag. SPX should be a super fat bag. And the clock's ticking. I think this week is it. Come on, bro. Why you freeze? I think this week we're going to see our moves by Friday. If we don't get it this week, obviously the week after that, but realistically, I think this week is going to be it. They already got all the big ERs out the way. They got Fed out the way. They got the massive expirations on 10/31. So I think this week they're going to, go ahead and move it. Bro, why are my charts freezing? My chart froze. What, you want me to look at BAC now?
And then I look XLF sector.
Same thing, bro. You have all these BSLs, sorry, SSLs. I kind of prefer Wells Fargo. The chart on Bank of America is 110% better. It's more attractive, more structured, better volume. Everything on Bank of America is better. Bank of America is traded more volume, everything. Only difference is your premium. Your IVs are gonna be roughly around the same. The only thing is you can make a bit more money on Wells Fargo simply because of stock price. You're talking about $87 stock versus Wells Fargo at versus Bank of America at close to 50. Let's say you're buying a put at the money for a weekly on Bank of America for $50, and you can buy and put a put at the money for Wells Fargo for $60 or something like that. That's where you gotta look at the numbers and say, bro, I'm paying 10% more or 15% more for Wells Fargo when the stock is 2 times as expensive roughly or something like that. Then obviously, like I said, Wells Fargo is a bit more attractive. And when I did take those 2 trades, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago. I don't know if AJ, I don't think you were in here yet, or maybe you were, not sure. But when I issued the banks trade last time on Wells Fargo, I think it paid like 200% or something same day. Matter of fact, that's fine in the Discord. The point is, Wells Fargo paid a little more than Bank of America. So it's going to be the same setup here. Compare the premiums. And
do
if
the extra work.
Yeah, see, so it's here. This was so on 10/16, noticing banks are pretty flat after earnings, and then I said except for Bank of America and Wells Fargo. So if you look at Wells Fargo at the highs, Bank of America at the highs, we still had those sell sides which have yet to be filled. Then if you compare it to GS was at the lows, JPM at the lows. So ideally the thesis was short Wells Fargo and and they ended up paying pretty well. I think, you were in here, AJ, I think. The point is, same exact setup here. If Wells Fargo makes sense as far as premiums go, then we'll take Wells Fargo. As far as, like I said, chart, volume, everything, I prefer Bank of America 110%. It's just gonna come down to where we could get a better deal. And I'm not taking XLF. I know you asked about it, but I wouldn't take
No,
this.
AXP.
Same thing. If you want to take it, go for it. But it's gonna come down to bang for your buck.
Yeah. Okay. So that's one thing I'm interested for myself this week.
I rather take Bank of America or Wells Fargo or over AXP. Not that you can't make money, you for sure could. Just if you're gonna spend $500 on one contract for AXP, shit, bro, stack 10 on Wells Fargo. You'll manage way easy. Excuse me, you'll manage way easier. You could trim out versus I bought one contract for $500 and I'm stuck with it, or I sold and I'm all out. You buy 10 contracts, $50 each. Way easier to manage. Scale in, scale out.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Other
about
than
it, bro.
That's the outcome for my watch list.
All right then,
Thank
fuck
you,
it,
Michael.
fuck it. I'll be up early. We'll see what's up. Like I said, I'm probably taking it slow tomorrow, unless we get some triggers before the open, and then maybe Wednesday, Tuesday, when we get BSLs, we'll size up and go crazy again. And then ideally, if you guys want to kind of let me know what you guys are in, or ideally you guys should be managing your own ports, obviously. But I don't know if you guys are managing. So if you need help with any trades, like Alex, I know you took a few. I don't know if you took profits, didn't take profits, you're holding. Like I said, ideally you guys should be managing your own, trades. Based off, what the call outs, hey, we're in here, we sold here, whatever, trim, take partials, whatever I mentioned. But like I said, not everyone does it. So if you ever have any questions about any position specifically, let me know. Ideally, like I said, sure, you should be managing. But I get it sometimes, hey, I didn't know you guys sold, or I didn't get into this specific trade, or whatever the case may be. So if you guys kind of want to tap in, once or twice every week, kind of give me a heads up on how you guys are doing. Hey, I sold this, I bought this, should I buy more, should I sell? Gives me an idea of how you guys are doing to help you out. Because if you're lost, unless you're speaking up, like I said, I don't really have a clue. So Alex, I don't know if you heard that, but if you got questions about your trades, let me know. AJ, I know you asked about, hey, can I put this back on, should I wait, etc. So that's cool. I think you've been doing all right, but don't be shy to ask me about anything, bro.
For sure, bro. Thank you.
And then you too, Alex, bro. You quiet. I'll DM you right now. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing all right. But I don't want anyone to ever feel lost. So hopefully you guys are doing all right. And like I said, I don't know what you guys are doing. I'm assuming you guys are all right. But if you don't speak up, like, I can't really know. So that's why if you guys want to kind of, hey, this is what my port's looking like right now. What should I do? What would you do? I'll tell you guys, oh shit, you made a rack, cool, pay yourself $100, do this, do that. But like I said, can't really get a feel unless you guys get me in on the loop. And if you guys are straight, shit, keep doing your thing. Like you, AJ, I know you've been doing pretty good, so shit, keep doing your thing, bro. But like I said, if you do need help with some shit, let me know. You made decent profits, like you're floating in profits, or you secured the profits, Alex? Let me know. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, hopefully some realized profits. If you do have some floating profits, that's fine. But hopefully you did realize some. Alright then, fuck it. I'm gonna probably go ahead and call it. And like I said, you secured. Alright, fuck it, cool. You made money. We'll make some more money this week, hopefully. But if you secured it, that's solid. Alright then, I'm gonna go ahead.
Yes,
I'll catch
sir.
y'all. If anybody wanna be here early, cool. If not, whenever you guys join, we'll be here. But it's gonna be a pretty good week, bro. So we'll see what this week brings.
For sure, there. Thanks.
Alright then, I'll upload the recording. And then I'll catch y'all tomorrow.
Thank you, Michael.
Catch y'all, bro. Stay up.
Have a good night. See you tomorrow.
Catch y'all.
Descanses.
You too, gang.